Yo, what's good? This is Chef David Olson with Live Fire Republic, and we've landed here, just north of the US-Mexico border in very southern Arizona. But this isn't where our day started. At sunrise, we met up with my very good friend, hunting guide Ian Cassidy of Ridgeline Pursuit. We're on the chase for the most incredible desert Gambel quail you've ever seen. By the grace of our good Lord, our harvest was plentiful. And later on today at Hunt Camp, we're throwing down the ultimate cornbread stuff and bacon wrapped smoked quail on the Primo ceramic grill, all over live fire. I promise, you don't want to miss this. Or touch that. Let's go. Ian, what's up, man?
How are you? Glad to see you can make it.
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I'm excited to be out here, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good time. It's a great day. We don't have too much wind. Just good weather in general.
We got both the dogs.
Indy and Demo are ready to go, as you can hear.
These dogs are ready to go. I know that for sure. So, man, why don't we jump on over to the truck? Let's get geared up. We'll talk a little bit about the day and the strategy we have ahead, and we'll run it out from there.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
I'm experiencing this firsthand, but I mean, tell those watching out here, what makes this area so unique and so different? I mean, we're hunting desert birds.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is extremely cool, but so unique as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, Arizona is a unique place where, I mean, we have three different species, technically four, but really three different huntable species of quail in the Arizona area. And they're all within driving distance, right? So today we're out here hunting the Gambel's quail,
Yep.
which is the most, proliferous, of the quail out in Arizona. And they range through probably about 70% of the state, give or take, and don't hold me to that, but they're kind of all over the place, and so this year is kind of a special year for them because we've had two really good wet monsoons prior to this year, and really what changes the amount of birds that you're going to see on the ground, right, and that you're going to be able to hunt is once you hit 3 wet seasons prior to the hatch, then you're going to have a whole bunch of birds on the ground. So we're at 2 right now, and if we get another really good wet winter this year, then we're going to see an even better desert bird population next year. In a good day, in a day where the quail are actually going to cooperate for us, right? Once we break up those coveys, those birds start calling even more. Usually takes between 15 and 20 minutes, give or take, sometimes less. And those birds will start calling, and then we start hunting those singles, and we just let the dogs do the work. And as soon as they go on point, it's your job to get up there and flush those birds out. And take those shots, which are not easy.
No, they're not easy. I mean, it's incredible because, I mean, there are, traditional flushes where, you could have 10, 20, 30 birds flushing out, right? And then we have others where, I mean, if they're sitting and they're staying close to, the ground, I mean, they could be at your feet. You wouldn't even know it.
Yep.
And then they're popping up and they're ready to go.
Yep.
And you got to be ready to rock. So I don't know. This has been a lot of fun, man. And I know that we put in a lot of work up here today. Why don't we finish hydrating up? We'll get the dogs ready to rock, and then we can get on out and let's put some birds in the bag.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right.
All right. Here. Right here.
Right in front of you.
right here. Right there to your left.
Yo, Ian, check it out. Bird down.
Oh yeah, that's a male.
That's a male. What a
There you
beauty.
go. Good shot. Yeah, that's awesome. Got him good.
There we go. Man, these things are near impossible to hit.
Aren't they tough?
It's unbelievable. I mean, they just stick low.
Yeah.
They go quick. They dart.
They want to put something between them and you, right? So if they can find an obstacle, that's what they're going for every single time.
What is? I mean, and you know, obviously caring first for safety, number one, of us and the dogs. Man, oh man, you're just waiting for these things just to lift enough off the ground to get a clean target. That's tough, but this is absolutely beautiful, man.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's good. It was a good shot, and that's a good-looking male bird, and it's going to be good eating too.
Well, we've had an awesome day out here, and I know that we're going to get on to the rest of the hunt and the rest of the day. So when we pop this inside the bags and get going, huh?
Yeah, we got to go switch dogs out too, man.
All right, let's go.
All right,
great work. Ian, they say there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I'm confident there's less maybe with a quail.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's only a couple different ways that I will normally do them, and I'm sure there's tons of guys out there, maybe even watching, right, that are like, I don't, you know, skin my quail like that. I don't clean my quail like that. That's okay. You know, however you want to do it, you can do it your way.
Well, you have a methodology for spatchcocking quail, and I'm super interested in spatchcocking because we're going to take the birds that we've captured here today, that we've harvested, and we're going to do a really cool stuffing with those birds. We're going to lay them over wood planks, and then we're going to slowly smoke them. So I think spatchcocking is really neat because we'll put them that breast side down, rib cage exposed. We'll put a stuffing on the inside, truss them with some butcher's twine, season them gently, and then just let the primo and the smoke do what the primo and the smoke does.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that sounds really good. And the reason that I like to do the spatchcocking, I mean, you can just breast these you know, birds out,
of course,
obviously, and that is really the easiest way, and probably the way that a lot of guys will end up doing it. I like to have a little bit more options, especially if it's a mature bird, and those legs are a little fatter, right? And that's especially true for the Mearns quail, whose legs are really big. And I really like to use this method for them as well. But it does give you a lot of options, and obviously, as you know, and I'm not a chef, but you know, when you're spatchcocking them, it just really allows you to lay that bird out a little bit more, and these birds can dry out super fast because there's just not much to them. So you really, to me, I end up cooking a better quail when I'm able to kind of lay it open and then throw it on the barbecue or the smoker or something like that, and really you know, watch that quail closely so that it doesn't overcook. So
I'm going to turn over our harvest here to you, my friend, and
sounds good.
And learn me how to spatchcock a quail.
All right. Well, really, it just comes down to you know, get yourself a good pair of shears, which I carry these with me all the time, and they're nothing special, just something off of Amazon or whatever. But a nice pair of shears.
Is this hunting shears? Is it? My wife has gardening shears. Is it the same deal?
No. These are like, you know, your standard kitchen shears. They kind of look a little bit more gnarly, I guess.
They do look gnarly.
They're pretty gnarly, but they do just a really good job on these quail most of the time, and so these are the ones that I keep with me, and so if a client's asking me to clean birds in the field before we leave, I can do that and send them home with them kind of ready to go. So,
great.
Yeah, so let's I think I'm gonna pull this up as a table real quick. Perfect, just to give myself something to work with.
Yeah,
so
get here. I want to see how this happens.
Yeah, so first thing is, whether it's legs, wings, or head, it doesn't really matter, but we're gonna clip them off as close to the breast as possible.
Okay.
That's just gonna make the skinning a lot easier. So get one wing, which is where you shot them through there.
Yep.
And wing number 2, throw those down. And then legs. I like to go up to really right below where those feathers are, right? And just clip those guys
right
off.
through that joint.
Yep, right through that joint. Get that down there. And what I find is if I get below where there's still just skin on the leg and don't get much feather, when it skins off of the leg, it will hopefully take all of the feather with it. Sometimes if you cut them a little bit too high, then it ends up leaving a little bit, and it's kind of funky. I mean, you can always cut it off later on, but that's what I like to do. And then finally, just the head. And we just clip that guy off, and now we've got our bird that's pretty much, ready to go. Right, we're ready to get this thing skinning. It's going to hopefully skin right over the back and right off the legs in kind of one fell swoop. And then the last thing I do is I'm going to cut the tail off.
That's great.
So we're just going to peel that open, peel that breast open.
So you're starting in with the breast meat on the bottom side of the bird, and just kind of peeling in center cavity.
That's right. Yep, exactly. So I find that middle of that breast, and just start peeling that guy off.
Wow.
All right. So we just start getting that squared away. I try not to get as many feathers in it as I can, or as possible, but sometimes they don't like to cooperate. So once I get it kind of peeled off of the breast and around, you can kind of get those legs out a little bit, but I like to go right over the spine and get this neck out. So I'll kind of peel it right back over the back here.
You're almost caping per se and pulling that skin right off of that quail.
Yeah,
wow.
right around the back. And so once I get it around the back, see, I can get my finger through there like that.
I do.
Then I can just kind of pull that hopefully right up and over the neck like so. Okay. Now it becomes a lot easier for me as I'm working down the back. You can see the legs starting right here, right?
I can.
So I can do, and we got
of course.
Yeah, right where he's been shot. So
where he's been dispatched at.
Maybe not. And we'll just kind of.
And so you're having to work around a little bit where the entry point was from the bullet per se.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of get that, and there obviously there's no rush, right? So I can work on this guy. I can be real fast with him, or I can, or I can just take my time and try to get that whole leg out. So I'm gonna, because this is the hard side, I'm just gonna kind of work on that a little bit.
Okay. And then it just peels right off down through the end of the.
So you see where it left a little bit of the skin and or a little bit of the feathers, and I just kind of pulled them off. So and then we just keep going. Get this other leg out of here. Right here. Just like that. Pop that guy off. And we'll just make sure that he's skinned all the way down this way. All right. And then you can see that connection, if the feathers will cooperate. You can see that connection for the tail right there.
Yeah, right down at the tail.
Yep, and I'm just gonna pop that right off of there.
There you go.
And that should just...
pull out some of the entrails.
Yeah, that did pull out a little bit out because he's been gut shot. And so now, we've got our, if I had some water here,
that's
obviously
I can quail, of course.
I could clean him up, but we've got our quail, and he's been totally skinned, and he's good to go, and he's ready for the second step, right, which is going to be the spatchcocking part. And so in this part, I like to start literally right at the neck, right? You can get that kind of gizzard out of the way, and when I come in right next to the neck. Along
almost
the spine.
between that spine and the scapula.
Yeah,
right there at
exactly, right. And I just do a little clip, and I'm holding pressure upward. Okay. So because I'm trying to not get any of his organs or anything else kind of squared away, and then I'll just do these little clips, kind of all the way down that spine. As I get all the way down here.
When it comes to bigger birds, it's always that last piece down on the tail, that joint. It's so tough to get through.
It
sometimes.
Is, yeah. You're not going to worry about those with the quail. They they go right through these things. And then I'm going to go right on the other side, doing the exact same thing. Although he's been shot up over here, so that's just going to be the way it is. And then I can take that all of that stuff right there, and just put my thumb in there and just rip everything right out. And my leg's gonna kind of come off a little bit, but you end up having a relatively clean bird with no water.
And now when you open that bird up, now that the spine has been removed, you're gonna snap into the breastplate.
Yep.
And then open that bird up, and now you have a bird. Once it's cleaned, it's seasoned, of
and
course.
So we can just break that just like so, boom.
There you go.
And now that bird is, you know, with some water and some cleanup, we're pretty much ready to cook this guy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Ian, this has been so much fun. These birds look absolutely beautiful, and quail doesn't get any more fresh than this. We had so much fun, man. This is an amazing day. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad you guys got to come out. I'm glad you contacted me for sure, you know, because this is definitely a new experience for me. And I'm just happy to be here, man.
Well, we're going to do it again for sure. So I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I know you got to get the dogs back home. We've got to go get our fires lit. So probably here's where we part ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck with the cook.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
All right. What an awesome day quail hunting with Ian, Demo, and Indy. Our harvest, as you can see, was great. We've landed back here at Hunt Camp. And as we like to say, it's time to kick the tires and light these fires. Now that charcoal is only going to need about 10 minutes to come up to temperature before we spread it evenly across the base of the grill floor, put down our deflector plate, and get ready to cook. Now, let's talk about what we're firing up today. We're going to do a full-on stuffed quail. People ask, what does quail taste like? To me, it tastes like the dark meat of chicken. And if prepared appropriately, it's sweet, it's tender, it has a very minuscule gamey taste, but it's quail. It's not chicken. We're gonna pair it up with a cornbread stuffing. We're gonna be using poblano, a little bit of jalapeno, a mirepoix of carrot, celery, onion, and shiitake mushroom. This is gonna be awesome. Now, we only have about 10 minutes until that grill's ready to rock, so let's get on the mirepoix. Now we came out to camp ready to go with our mirepoix already prepared, mise in place. That being said, we have in here a little bit of carrot, our celery, onion, with a rough chop and dice, and our shiitake mushroom that's been thinly sliced. Set it aside. Now, on the way out here to Hunt Camp today, we wanted to spice things up. So we brought poblanos and jalapenos. We're gonna give them just a fine dicing and mince. They're gonna go inside the mirepoix and then in the skillet and over the fire. No hard and fast rules here. We're just gonna put an easy mince on these poblanos and jalapenos. And done. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it good enough for who it's for? Yes. All right, now you saw that we piled the charcoal high on one side of the grill. It's because we have two very different cooks taking place. We're gonna be sauteing down our mirepoix of the poblano, jalapeno mushroom, carrot, celery, and onion on the directly heated portion of the grill grate underneath the charcoal. On the opposite side of the charcoal, we'll have down our deflector plate, a grilling surface, and our wood planks. And that is where we're gonna be slow smoking our quail. Now, juniper wood is literally everywhere here in the desert. You saw it all over our hunt today, but it's just not everywhere or anywhere. It's right here. We picked up a few chunks of dried out juniper wood. We're gonna bury it inside the charcoal in the grill. We're gonna integrate that beautiful woodsy essence of the juniper directly into the quail. Now that grill's ready for a bird smoke. Now the first step to any great saute is get your cast iron ripping hot. Onto the grill, directly over the charcoal. We're gonna close our lid, give it about 10 minutes, and that pan is gonna be ready for our mirepoix. To me, the taste, flavors, and textures of wild game should never be masked, only elevated. And it's why we're keeping things ultra simple today. We're going with olive oil, kosher salt, cracked black peppercorn, roasted granulated garlic, and sage. And we're gonna gently massage the kosher salt, cracked black peppercorn, roasted garlic, and sage into the gambels. We're then gonna let it rest for 15 to 20 minutes. This is gonna drive flavor deep into those proteins, and it's also going to help tenderize the meat. Now to set the base for our mirepoix, we're going with 3 knobs of butter and a few glugs of olive oil. How much is a few knobs and a couple glugs? It's however much your grandma says. Butter for the health benefits, olive oil for the flavor. Mirepoix in. Now we're just gonna gently work the mirepoix around the pan. We're looking just to get a really nice color on this. We wanna ensure the mushrooms release of all their liquids. We're gonna cook this down a fair bit. Those quail are not big in terms of their cavity. We wanna get as much of this mirepoix and those birds as we can. Next, cilantro. We're just gonna bunch our cilantro up and rough chop. Curling those fingertips back, ensuring that blade doesn't catch your fingers, and done. Little splash of Embercraft, blowtorch. And what we're doing here is we're burning off the alcohol from the bourbon, but we're integrating all of those beautiful oaky, caramelly flavors. Seasoning with our same blend of roasted garlic, kosher salt, cracked black peppercorn, and sage. Cilantro and toasted pinyon pine nuts, locally harvested right here in Arizona. Now fold together the cilantro, pine nuts in with the mirepoix seasonings, butter, and the oil before crumbling in day-old cornbread. Now we have a small loaf of cornbread. We're just gonna crumble this all over the mirepoix and then fold these ingredients together for the most incredible stuffing for quail you've never had. Now the nice part about this is that day-old cornbread is just gonna soak up all of those flavors, all of that mirepoix. We're gonna have a really nice finish on this. In the event that it turns out a little bit drier than expected, you can always drop in a little bit more butter, some oil, and I'll tell you what, no one's ever hurt by a little bit more bourbon. Now to finish and to bring this all together, we're just gonna pour in about a cup of chicken stock. And that is how that is done. And we're preparing our game birds today on wood planks. Now these boards have soaked overnight, but to amp up that smoky flavor, we're torching these bad boys with a little bit of propane and flame. Now, we'll let the grill do the rest of the work. I just want to torch that board enough to see that beautiful grain. That, my friends, is a board ready for some quail. We start now by placing our game birds breast side down, rib cage side up, and you can see the spatchcocking that was done here by Ian. Really, really beautiful work. Now we're just gonna lay these birds directly across the board, and then we're gonna bring that stuffing filler in right over the top. That one's missing a leg. I'm sure at one point it had one. Now let's go in with the stuffing. We're just gonna load that stuffing, just pile it ultra high right on top of those birds. Load up that cavity. Now, a lot of people debate, is stuffing better than dressing? Is dressing better than stuffing? I have no idea, but I'm just gonna tell you, these birds with this stuffing is delicious, and no matter how you prepare it, whether it's these birds on a standalone spatchcocked above the boards, stuffed with stuffing, or dressing set on the side, no matter which way you go, this is phenomenal. Now, we're gonna turn these birds over, stuff them in, wrap them up, and we're gonna place them cavity side down. Now the last step before these birds are ready for the grill, stuff that bird, wrap its legs around, turn it upright, expose those breasts, and we're gonna wrap it to keep all that stuffing in place with hardwood smoked bacon. Quite frankly, because everything is better with bacon. All right, just maintaining all that stuffing inside the cavity of the bird. We're gonna wrap the bacon around. This is the best replacement for butcher's twine that God ever made. Nice and easy. It twists up, no big deal. Again, bacon's good no matter if it's twisted up or not. There we go. Next in, bacon around. Bacon wrapped and stuffed quail. Who knew this is how you do Arizona, huh? Before I wrap that last quail, I think it's really important to know, the bacon isn't just intended to keep all that stuffing inside and for the flavor, of course, but it adds a necessary fat to the exterior of that quail to continue to baste and keep that breast meat moist throughout the course of the smoke. Grills to temperature. We're gonna set the board down over the ceramic deflector plate and away from the heat. Now, you'll notice the game bird legs are towards the charcoal. The breast is away from the charcoal. There's less intramuscular fat in those breasts. We wanna ensure to protect them throughout the course of the cook. With about 5 minutes left, we'll turn the board around just to finish, crisp up that breast and bacon meat. We're gonna be ready to rock. Until then, it's probably time to do what we do best, and that's drink some bourbon. Most game birds, just like quail, are extremely lean, which makes them difficult to cook on the grill. We're gonna prepare these birds to 160 degrees in the thick of the thigh, remove them from the grill, and allow carryover cooking to finish the job. Now, that's gonna take about 15 to 20 minutes. Until then, let's get ourselves on a prickly pear bourbon cocktail. Now, just like our cook, we're gonna keep our cocktail simple. We're starting out with Live Fire Republic's premier release of Embercraft. This is a 7-year double barrel ultra custom micro batch. It has a beautiful caramelly buttery coverage across the palate and a nice bit of spice in the finish of every single taste. Now that being said, we're going directly in to the bottom of the glass, about 1.5 ounces or 2 on the pour. We're gonna be using a prickly pear syrup to tune this up. Now, one of my very favorite cocktails is just simply bourbon and maple. This is gonna remind you of that, but with an Arizona desert twist. A little bit of a pour. We're gonna finish with a squeeze of lemon. And that, my friends, is a cocktail good enough for who it's for. If you've loved this episode as much as we've loved taking you on the adventure, do a couple things for me. Smash that subscribe, hit the like, leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to send some love over to our friends Ian, Indy, and Demo at Ridgeline Pursuit, Primo Ceramic Grills, Matt, Jamie, and Olivia over at Cloth and Flame. For all these recipes and more, get at us at livefirerepublic.com. Until then, the time for talk is over. Let's eat. What a remarkable day, what a fun cook. But nothing's left to do at this juncture but dive into the birds. Here we go. Look at how beautiful these Gambels are. You have that Maillard reaction, that caramelization, that fat has rendered down, that bacon is super crispy. You can see there's a nice bit of crunch on that cornbread. This is gonna be awesome. So here we go. We're just gonna dig in, fork in through the breast. I'm gonna take a super sharp knife here. Just breast out that bird. Now we're gonna work alongside edge of that rib cage, just kind of fold it open and carve down. We're gonna get some of that bacon. There we go. That's what we're looking To me, that's the best bite in all of wild game. That is so good. That's amazing. You get the richness from that bacon, only a slight amount of gaminess from that bird, but it's just like eating dark turkey meat or dark chicken meat. It's so rich, so flavorful. You not only get the salinity from the seasoning and the bacon, but you also get a bit of that smokiness and the spice from that cornbread stuffing. But it's that honey in the cornbread, the bourbon essence, it just coats across the entirety of the palate. That, my friends, is phenomenal. And this has been wild Gambel quail with cornbread stuffing on the Primo ceramic grill, all over live fire. Stay hungry. Good. We're gonna be using the ceramic planks. Now, let me show you how to get the grill set and wood planks. What this is gonna allow us to do, direct heat from getting on the applicator. Now we're gonna be using the double indirect. We have essentially two different, we're gonna be using two than wild game. Wild game should be seasoned to elevate